Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes a special Christmas briefing, 300 applications, 4 interviews, Chinese foreign graduates face tough job market, jealous of other people's families at Christmas? You're not alone. FMIA holiday special, on the Steelers' Kim Hayward and the art of giving back. China is softening stance on gaming after $80 billion rout. A special Christmas briefing. New York Times. The New York Times wishes its readers a joyful Christmas, acknowledging that this time of year brings light and cheer to counteract the darkness of the shortest days of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. The article highlights that Christmas is not just celebrated by those who observe the religious holiday, but also by those who celebrate Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, or who simply enjoy the festive season. The article offers warm wishes to readers, regardless of how they choose to spend the day. It also includes a list of recommended holiday reads, as well as a selection of events and achievements from the past year. The article concludes with a quiz and a series of treasured holiday memories shared by readers from around the world. The New York Times briefing team in Melbourne and London toast to readers and another year together. 300 applications, 4 interviews, Chinese foreign graduates face tough job market. South China Morning Post. Chinese students who have studied abroad are facing challenges finding jobs in China due to increased competition from domestic graduates and the preference of companies for in-person interviews. The number of domestic graduates is expected to reach 11.79 million next year, up 210,000 from this year, adding to the competition. In addition, the pandemic has led to more Chinese students studying overseas returning home after their studies, as they believe job prospects are better in China. Many are now seeking stable jobs in state-owned companies and government institutions, which are seen as offering high security and reliable benefits. Jealous of other people's families at Christmas? You're not alone. The Sydney Morning Herald. The holiday period can evoke feelings of jealousy and inadequacy due to the unrealistic expectations often portrayed on social media, according to experts. Comparing one's own experiences with the polished images shared on platforms such as Instagram can lead to feelings of frustration, disappointment, and envy. To combat these emotions, psychologists suggest adopting an approach of self-enhancement, focusing on one's own values and beliefs, practicing gratitude, and taking a break from social media. FMIA holiday special, on the Steelers' Kim Hayward and the art of giving back. Yahoo! Peter King's Football Morning in America column on Monday brought a new perspective to the NFL, with King writing about Pittsburgh Steelers defensive end Kim Hayward. It made for a nice change, King wrote, to highlight the good in the game rather than the negative and to have a break from his regular column is so refreshing. King focused on Hayward and his impact on the community in Pittsburgh, where he has helped raise money for underprivileged kids, offered advice to students and teachers, read books to children, and even made cakes for his teammates. Hayward's contributions to the community are numerous and they are meaningful, to the point where he is leaving a lasting legacy in Pittsburgh. King said it was his focus on helping others, as well as his leadership on the field, that made him a standout player in the NFL. Hayward's father, Craig, died of a brain tumor in 2006, when Hayward was in his junior year of high school. The Steelers player has since set up Craig's Closet in 11 Pittsburgh schools to provide clothing for children from disadvantaged backgrounds. He also established a grief group to help children who have lost a parent or sibling, with the added benefit of art therapy. In addition, Hayward has created free libraries in poor neighborhoods and has recorded himself reading books for children in hospital. Each year, he also performs 7 acts of kindness and pays for teacher appreciation dinners. China is softening stance on gaming after $80 billion rout. Bloomberg. China has approved 105 domestic games, including those operated by Tencent and NetEase, in a move that suggests Beijing is softening its stance on the gaming industry. The approvals come after the Chinese authorities tightened restrictions on the sector, leading to an $80 billion market rout. The new rules include a cap on spending by adult players and bans on rewards for frequent logins and forced player duels. The National Press and Publication Administration has said it will listen to feedback from stakeholders to improve the rules. Ing wants to put on show at Olympic Games after 2023 podium breakthrough. South China Morning Post. Jason Ing Tai Long, a Hong Kong triathlete, is determined to qualify for the Paris Olympics and give Hong Kong fans a show. Ing won a silver medal in the Asia Triathlon Sprint Championships in November and is currently in a close race with Ayan Bisanbayev of Kazakhstan for qualification. Ing is part of a group of successful triathletes in Hong Kong, including teammate Robin Elg and Olympian Oscar Coggins. Ing is focused on his own performance and does not worry about his competitors, as he believes that focusing on oneself leads to the best results. Texas school board stuns the country with recent move in book banning. Members of the board are clearly motivated. Yahoo! The Texas State Board of Education has rejected more than half of the proposed 8th grade textbooks for being negative about the dirty energy that contributes to rising temperatures. While the districts are not required to use the board-approved textbooks, the board's decision holds a lot of weight. The decision was likely influenced by Texas's extremely profitable oil and gas industries. It is important that students are given accurate information about climate change and their energy alternatives in order to make smart, cost-effective, and eco-friendly decisions as adults. 44 other states have adopted the next generation science standards for K-12 curriculum, which teaches that rising temperatures are a real problem caused by humans and that reducing air pollution can fix the issue. Melissa didn't think uni was for her. Now she's the first graduate from her community in 36 years. ABC. Melissa Andrews-Waramarba has become the first person from her remote Northern Territory community in Australia to complete a university degree in 36 years. She is now working to tackle the underlying issues around poor school attendance as part of a program run by the Yugal Manji Development Aboriginal Corporation. The corporation aims to increase education and employment options for young people in the region. OHI State head coach Ryan Day and Xavier Johnson Cotton Bowl arrival press conference. Yahoo! Ohio State head coach Ryan Day has said he hopes the Cotton Bowl victory will give them some momentum into the next season. The Buckeyes face Missouri on December 31st, and Day spoke about new starting quarterback Devin Brown's opportunity and the team's injury updates. Reindeer are famous for pulling Santa's sleigh, but it's their vision that has scientists interested. ABC. Reindeer's vision has evolved to allow them to easily spot their preferred food, according to a recent study in the journal iPerception. The mirror-like tissue in reindeer eyes changes color from a greenish gold in the summer to vivid blue in the winter, a process that is believed to amplify the low light of polar winter. They can also see ultraviolet light, which most animals avoid as it can be damaging. The researchers believe this may be linked to protecting reindeer against predators and helping them find high-colored reindeer moss, their main food source. Barbie, Birkenstocks, and men thinking about the Roman Empire. What social trends taught us about the 2023 economy? The Sydney Morning Herald. Social trends and cultural events can provide insights into the U.S. economy. In 2023, the film He's Just Ken reflected the divergence in outcomes for young and middle-aged men and women in the labor market. While younger women have bounced back from the pandemic and are working at historically high rates, younger men are still working at much lower rates than in the past. Factors such as a shift away from marriage, a decline in childbearing, and the rise of pink-collar service jobs may be contributing to this trend. Female-centric consumerism was also notable in 2023, with women dominating in areas such as music concerts and culinary innovation. The increased thriftiness in food consumption was reflected in the popularity of girl dinners, which consisted of affordable ingredients. Additionally, the rise of weight loss drugs such as Ozempic and Wegovy caused concern for big food companies, as people may reduce their food consumption. Technological advancements, such as OpenAI's ChatGPT chatbot, also had economic implications, potentially reshaping the workforce and boosting productivity. Eastern Michigan apologizes to South Alabama for players' punch that sparked brawl after bowl game. Associated Press. Eastern Michigan University's athletic director, Scott Weatherby, issued an apology to South Alabama after an Eastern Michigan player punched an opposing player in the head during a post-game brawl. The altercation occurred after South Alabama's victory over Eastern Michigan in the 68 Ventures Bowl. Weatherby condemned the actions of the student-athletes involved, stating that such behavior is unacceptable. He apologized to the EMU community, South Alabama, and its fans. Both universities are working with their respective athletic directors and conferences to investigate the incident and take appropriate actions. Why China is keeping its distance as Russia and North Korea cozy up. South China Morning Post. China is reportedly cautious about being drawn into a trilateral relationship with North Korea and Russia, fearing it could trigger a new Cold War and escalate tensions in the region. Observers have said that Beijing wants to avoid appearing to be engaged in bloc building by strengthening ties with Pyongyang and Moscow, while it has close bilateral relationships with both countries. China has remained low-key about the growing alignment between Russia and North Korea and has repeatedly stated that their cooperation is a matter between the two sides and that China would not interfere. However, China has a stake in international stability and wants to avoid deeper global instability. The situation on the Korean peninsula is still considered dangerous, and China does not think it needs to get closer to North Korea, which is one of the sources of high tension in the region. Beijing prefers to maintain the status quo on the peninsula out of fears that pressuring North Korea too hard could make it an enemy. The intensifying rivalry between the US and China could work in Beijing's interests if the US is tied up with North Korean military threats. However, it is doubtful how much Beijing will actually play a constructive role in constraining North Korea's provocative behavior or to what extent Pyongyang will heed Beijing's advice. China has often hinted that it does not have the required influence over North Korea to stop its military aggression. Beijing's standoffishness towards the closer alignment between Russia and North Korea is due to its reluctance to be held accountable for any provocative behavior by North Korea that it has no control over. China offers support to Russia and North Korea when it costs China nothing, but balks at overt support when it risks retaliation or international condemnation. How Hermes became Europe's biggest family fortune after spurning LVMH's wolf in Kashmir. The Sydney Morning Herald. Hermes has become Europe's richest family, with a net worth of $151 billion, thanks to the success of the luxury brand. The company has seen shares rise by more than 1,000% since 2010, compared to a 600% gain at LVMH. Hermes' market value is now over €200 billion, $216 billion, around 60% of LVMH's. The brand has remained largely unaffected by the slowdown in high-end luxury goods sales due to its focus on craftsmanship, exclusivity, and scarcity. Demand for some of its handbags has remained high, with customers sometimes waiting months or even years for a Birkin or Kelly bag. UMass rolls past Old Dominion 87-65 for fifth place at Diamond Head Classic. Associated Press. Massachusetts defeated Old Dominion 87-65 in the fifth-place game at the Diamond Head Classic. Josh Cohen led UMass with 28 points, while Tyrone Williams scored 22 points for Old Dominion. UMass improves to 8-3 on the season and will play Siena next, while Old Dominion falls to 4-8 and will host South Alabama in their Sun Belt Conference opener. Well, folks, it's time for our special Christmas briefing. I'm Dr. Six, your resident observer from the Six Dimensions. As always, I'm here to bring you the latest news with a touch of humor and a dash of wit. First off, the New York Times wishes everyone a joyful Christmas, reminding us that this time of year brings light and cheer to counteract the darkness of the shortest days in the Northern Hemisphere. Whether you celebrate Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, or just enjoy the festive season, warm wishes are extended to all. And don't forget to check out their recommended holiday reads and the treasured holiday memories shared by readers from around the world. In other news, Chinese foreign graduates are facing a tough job market. With increased competition from domestic graduates and the preference for in-person interviews, finding a job in China has become a challenge. The pandemic has also led to more Chinese students returning home after studying abroad, seeking stable jobs in state-owned companies and government institutions. It's a tough market out there, folks. Feeling jealous of other people's families at Christmas? You're not alone. The Sydney Morning Herald reports that the holiday period can evoke feelings of jealousy and inadequacy, especially when we compare our experiences to the picture-perfect images on social media. But fear not. Psychologists suggest focusing on our own values and beliefs, practicing gratitude, and taking a break from social media to combat these negative emotions. Remember, folks, it's not all about the picture-perfect moments. Now, let's talk about some heartwarming news. Peter King's Football Morning in America column shines a light on Pittsburgh Steelers defensive end Cam Hayward and his impact on the community. Hayward has raised money for underprivileged kids, offered advice to students and teachers, and even made cakes for his teammates. His contributions to the community are numerous and meaningful, and he's leaving a lasting legacy in Pittsburgh. It's refreshing to see the good in the game, isn't it? In China, there seems to be a softening stance on gaming after an $80 billion market rout. The Chinese authorities have approved 105 domestic games, including those operated by Tencent and NetEase. This suggests that Beijing is reconsidering its strict regulations on the gaming industry. However, new rules are being put in place to cap spending by adult players and ban rewards for frequent logins and forced player duels. It's a delicate balance, folks. In sports news, Hong Kong triathlete Jason Ng Tai Long is determined to qualify for the Paris Olympics and give Hong Kong fans a show. Ng recently won a silver medal in the Asia Triathlon Sprint Championships and is in a close race for qualification. He believes that focusing on oneself leads to the best results. So let's cheer him on, folks. Now, let's move on to a rather controversial topic. The Texas State Board of Education has rejected more than half of the proposed 8th grade textbooks for being negative about dirty energy. It seems Texas's profitable oil and gas industries may have influenced this decision. It's important that students are given accurate information about climate change and their energy alternatives so they can make informed decisions in the future. In Australia, Melissa Andrews Waramarba has become the first person from her remote Northern Territory community to complete a university degree in 36 years. She's now working to improve education and employment options for young people in her region. It's a tremendous achievement, and she's making a difference in her community. Congratulations, Melissa! Moving on to sports, Ohio State head coach Ryan Day hopes the Cotton Bowl victory will give them momentum into the next season. The Buckeyes face Missouri in their upcoming game, and Day spoke about the new starting quarterback's opportunity and the team's injury updates. Let's hope they finish the season strong. Did you know that reindeer have some fascinating vision abilities? According to a recent study, their eyes change color to amplify the low light of polar winter, and they can even see ultraviolet light. It's all about finding that high-colored reindeer moss, their main food source. Looks like Santa's little helpers have some impressive skills. Now, let's talk about social trends and their impact on the economy. In 2023, we saw a divergence in outcomes for young men and women in the labor market. While younger women have bounced back from the pandemic and are working at historically high rates, younger men are still struggling. Factors such as a shift away from marriage and the rise of service jobs may be contributing to this trend. Female-centric consumerism and increased thriftiness in food consumption were also notable. Technological advancements, such as AI chatbots, are reshaping the workforce. It's a fascinating glimpse into the future, folks. In sports news, Eastern Michigan University's athletic director issued an apology after a post-game brawl. Such behavior is unacceptable, and both universities are working to investigate the incident and take appropriate actions. Let's hope for better sportsmanship in the future. China's cautious approach to the growing alignment between Russia and North Korea is understandable. They fear being drawn into a new Cold War and escalating tensions in the region. China wants to avoid appearing engaged in bloc building while maintaining its close bilateral relationships with both countries. It's a delicate balancing act for China. And finally, let's talk about Hermes, the luxury brand that has become Europe's richest family. With a focus on craftsmanship, exclusivity, and scarcity, Hermes has seen its shares skyrocket, making it Europe's biggest family fortune. Demand for their handbags remains high, with customers willing to wait months or even years for a Birkin or Kelly bag. Now that's some serious dedication to fashion. Well, folks, that wraps up our special Christmas briefing. It's been a pleasure bringing you the latest news from around the world. Now it's your turn to join the conversation. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any questions for me? Let's hear what you have to say. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.